Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. It is Friday in the Midwest, and I got to say, I am very much ready for it, even though I've got things I got to do all weekend long. Hey, Papa Geek. Happy Friday, my friend. It's been a crazy few months for me. And I would say about a week ago, I started to realize, wow, I need to take some time off. I need to relax a little bit. I need to actually cut loose and just chill. Even though I love what I do and love what I'm doing, sometimes I just need to have a day where I don't have any obligations. Nothing's on my schedule. Nothing's on the list of things to do. And so I'm in the process of getting ready to transition a little bit to that next week. Although, as is my way, oftentimes I do find that despite my best efforts, things do seem to fall in my lap. And I'm like, well, I don't want to say no to this. I've been really fortunate lately. A lot of people have asked me to speak at summits, at conferences, and things like that. And any chance I can to spread breath work, because there's a lot of communities that have never heard of breath work. And I know this audience, we're like, what? How is that possible? How is it possible that they haven't heard of breath work? But there's a lot of communities out there that have never heard of breath work. And so they reach out to me. It's like, hey, for instance, earlier this week, I spoke at a conference. Well, maybe, I forget. No, it was Thursday. It was yesterday. Oh my God. This is why I need to take a break. It's because my days and everything's starting to kind of warp and blur together. But I spoke at a conference for career development. So this was a whole big thing about essentially training and helping people to get into the careers of their choice. And I think that's awesome. And one of the things that what happened was someone invited me to speak at that conference because they saw me speak at a different conference. So I'm like, cool, yeah, let's talk. And the thing is, most people, we go through life and we don't understand that every breath we take affects our physiology, like every single one. Even if you don't know that it's happening, even if you don't mean for it to happen, every single breath you take influences your physiology. Actually, and I didn't mean to, but that actually I'm channeling Casper Vandermeulen in his the foreword to my book. He talks about how every single breath we take does something. And it's absolutely true. Every single breath you take, it influences your body's pH. It influences your adrenaline. It influences your ability to focus, influences your immune function, your digestion, your sexual function, your circulation. Every single breath. And it's something that's so powerful. Yep. So many people don't have any idea about this. So this just yesterday, I spoke at a conference for career development. And I said, listen, no matter what career you get into and no matter how you coach or how you show up, it is it is within your power to show up in a better way. So yeah, it's been crazy. It's been a really, anyway, it's wonderful speaking at these events. And I generally don't turn many events down. My biggest belief, one of my biggest core values is that literally we can change the world for the better. And I think a lot of it has to do with what breath work can offer. And that is the ability to calm down, right? If you just think about all the things that are so that mess you up. Sandra, you're the best. Sandra says, hi, Jesse, you so handsome. I'm just saying, not only did you make my day, you made my whole weekend. but like, if you think about the things that really are happening in the world, if you think about all the, like, so often on the news, right? And regardless of what you think about these things, we see an enormous amount of people behaving badly, right? And it's just a lot of people behaving badly, whether it's somebody doing something like, and oftentimes it's a person who believes they're doing something good, but they're doing it in a way that's just kind of a jerk move. And just imagine if the whole world could calm down a little bit. And so that's one of the things that I believe that breath work can help us do. Not only just calm down, but also focus better, show up to our family and friends in a better way, down regulate our emotions or up regulate our emotions. A friend of mine on Facebook today, I saw his he made a post, and I'm really worried about him. And it made me think about just Wednesday night. If you guys you might have tuned in for the Pulmonauts Collective Wednesday night, we had a special Pulmonauts Collective for Mental Health Awareness Month, and that is the month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And we got together and we were talking about, basically, I mean, it's a serious issue, and so I sent him a message, and I also sent him I'd send him a public message of, hey, try this breathwork session out. It's not going to solve your problems, right? Because breathwork doesn't solve your problems. That's your job, right? Right. And actually, Dave from Evolution of Dave, he and I made a video on that not too long ago. If you haven't seen it, but the thing is, ultimately, solving your problems, that is your job. I mean, that's literally, we as human beings, we have to solve our own problems. But in order to show up in the right way, we have to be in the right mindset and the mind frame, the right kind of mental health to get those things done. And so breathwork is a valuable tool that I've seen help countless people. And I was talking to somebody today. Who was I talking to? I was talking to Jonathan, and one of my clients, and he was saying, the video you made about Wim Hof method. So a lot of you guys have seen my Wim Hof method review. I did a 4-year review, and then last year I did a 5-year update, and I've got to make my 6-year update coming up. I just happened to do it in June. I don't remember exactly when I started practicing Wim Hof method, because I didn't, a lot of times you start something and you're not like, hey, this is going to change the rest of my life, and so let's write it down. I don't remember the day that I started doing that. And unfortunately at the time I wasn't journaling or anything like that. I would kind of wish. Journaling is something that has really helped me, and I've done it. I've done a good deal of journaling, but I have intermittent spots where journaling has kind of fallen off. What's up, Paul? Good to see you guys. Nice to have you guys here. I did a little update on Instagram a minute ago to kind of let people know what we're going to be talking about today. Today, we're talking about rest, essentially taking a break, relaxing. And then we're going to be talking a little bit about the upcoming event, which is going to be a transformative event, which is called the Convergence, that I'll be doing with Roblin Festi. He and I are going to be leading that. And then also, I do want to remind everybody that tonight we're doing a free guided breathwork session with the Pulmonauts Collective. We're going to go super deep. And we're doing this to raise money for research for cystic fibrosis. A friend of mine has a son who is the cutest little guy in the world, and he has cystic fibrosis. And it is a genetic disease. And it is a disease that currently there is no cure for. And so one of the sad things is it will crystallize your lungs. And so I felt like, hey, what better community than the breathwork community to raise money for research into this. So tonight you're all invited, and I will ask you to donate if it's in your heart. And I do ask, hey, just a few dollars here and there, and every little bit helps for cystic fibrosis research. But anyway, we're going to talk about that. But real quick, I see a question over here. Brent has for me: any chance your cold training book will ever be paperback rather than ebook? Loved your breathwork book, by the way. Keep up the motivation and inspiring content. Thank you, my friend. So actually, yes, Brent. So the good news is yes. My goal is to do the 3rd update to this book. And my goal is to get that done by August. and then have the paperback ready to be purchased from Amazon by September. So my goal is September 29th. I have set a specific date. And some people are like, why September 29th of all days? And this is why. September 29th was when I published the very first ebook edition of the cold training book. And then it was also the day that I published this book right here, A Practical Guide to Breath Work. And so I'm like, for some reason, September 29th is the day that I publish a book every year. So I'm going to try to get that done and published so that you can buy it in paperback. And then I may, depending, I'm not sure if I'm going to get, of course, would you get an Audible? Here's a question to you guys. Should I do an Audible of my cold training book? I have an Audible of my breathwork book, but I don't have an Audible. Oh, I don't know if it would be worth it. It costs money to produce these things. So I don't know if it would be worth getting the Audible for the cold training book. I'm just not sure because I don't have a studio myself. So I wouldn't be able to record it all myself, and I don't really have all the equipment to do that. So if you think an Audible would be a good idea for a cold training book, let me know and put it in the description below or in the comments below, or hey, if you're here live, go ahead and put in the comments over here. I'd love to know what you think. I know some people like Audibles and they do the audiobooks only, and then other people like having a hard copy. So Brent, I assume you like having the hard copy, and my goal, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to reach it. So far, I have made these things happen, and I'm like, it happens. And right now I couldn't imagine doing that. Right now I am in need of a couple days where I just don't have anything I have to do, where I have no obligations. And even though, like, for instance, this is what I love, I'm doing what I'd love to do, even though I do what I love to do, I think that's one of the things that we all have to admit, that no matter what you do for a living, no matter what you do, you're going to work, right? We all have to go to work. And even if it's something that you love to do and you're passionate about, and the old saying is, my dad told me this when I was a kid, he said, find a job or find work that you love and you'll never go to day. What is it? What is it? Find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life, right? And ultimately it's that if you love what you do, it's not work, right? And hey, Alex, good to see you. And I'll answer your question here in just a minute, Robert. But the idea is, like, if you find a job that you're passionate about, then you're not going to work. But ultimately, still, even what I have found, and I'm passionate about breath work and Wim Hof method, cold training, and then also the Convergence is, you're going to see another side of me, which is, I almost cringe whenever people say like motivational speaker or things like that, but life coach or whatever. Sometimes I cringe whenever I hear these words because they're kind of overused. But essentially, that's the idea: is someone to assist people through transformation. And so that's what I'll be doing. That's what I do. That's my job. And so I love it. But at the same time, I need a couple of days where just nothing's going on. Where, like, if I just want to watch a movie, I can just watch a movie. So that's what I'm looking for. I think we all need that now and then. I recently, someone bought me a book. People buy me books sometimes, and I love it when they do that. And I haven't been able to read all of these books because I've been on the road, and being on the road is great. I will say it is really great. You get to meet people from around the country, around the world, and you get to see, you know what? It's like, I don't really watch the news very much, but when you watch the news, it sounds like everybody hates everybody. And then you go traveling and you actually look around and you bump into people here and there. And it's like, man, people are pretty nice. People really are, in my experience. And I travel all around the country of the United States, but you meet people from all around the world. When you do that, people generally are pretty nice to each other. And so keep it up, keep it up, my friends. So anyway, yeah, I'll be putting out that book by September. That is my goal. If you have the ebook copy, you will get the updated. So right now it's on the second edition of the ebook. And then when I publish the paperback, it will be the 3rd edition. So I've got some updates I'm going to be making, especially when it comes to how to treat and how to identify problems that arise whenever you overtrain. So that's one of the things I know for a fact I need to add things to, like there's like issues of frostbite, chilblains, and other things like that. So I don't know if I say that word correctly. That's why I try to say it really fast. I'm not going to say it again because I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly. I know what it reads like, and I know I had it. I know I had it over the winter because I overtrain sometimes, and I know people do. And so it's important to know, okay, did I overtrain to the point that I need to go to the hospital, or did I overtrain to the point where if I just do a few things here in the house, take it easy for a little while, it'll heal and go away. So I'm going to add some stuff to the book to kind of give some guidance there. And then, of course, the 2nd edition, I've got to say, what's interesting is on the 2nd edition of the ebook for cold training, that's where I tried to redesign the book and make it easier to read. And then just basically like it's more, I think, user-friendly in the 2nd edition. And then I had somebody reach out and they're like, hey, I really like that 1st edition, how you had it laid out. And I'm like, oh my God, that it just goes to show no matter how hard you work on something, sometimes it's like maybe it's never going to be right for everybody. But ultimately, I think it's moving in the right direction. And if any of you guys have the ebook, the cold training ebook, if there are any things about cold training specifically that you would like me to add, feel free to reach out this summer. Go to jessecoomer.com and email me. And I'd love to know if there's maybe there's a blind spot that I don't know about. I'd love to add those things in there for you. So that is what the news is on that. So let's talk a little bit about Robert Ball is asking, hey, Jesse, what is your opinion on CBD for anxiety and depression? Okay, so this is one of those topics that I have evolved my opinion over time. And it used to be that my opinion on CBD was, well, okay, I'll go back to, I'll be super honest with you. Like as a former, I used to smoke weed all the time. Okay, just so you know, like there was probably 10 years of my life, I smoked weed every single day in excess. Like it wasn't like, how some people are like, hey, I don't overdo it. I don't abuse it. No, I abused it, right? It was every single day. So it was kind of one of those things where I eventually, I quit. I really don't do that anymore. And no judgments if you do. I don't really care. It's just, for me, it's just not a thing that I've done, and I just don't do it anymore. But whenever I saw CBD out, I was like, is this, is it, I knew it didn't make you high or anything like that. And so I tried it I had like CBD infused fizzy water, CBD infused like gummies and things like that. And I really didn't notice any difference. And then it wasn't until Dream Nutrition here in Indiana, a guy reached out to me with Dream Nutrition and he sent me some of their isolates. And I felt like maybe I was getting a better night's sleep, but I wasn't 100% sure. They're a good company, good people, good company. And then I will tell you this. But the thing is, I wasn't 100% sure. I kind of lost touch with them. I haven't really been using, I kind of stopped using their product after a little while. And I just was like, maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't. I knew it helped some people, and some people took it for the thing that really weirded me out, okay, about CBD was that people take it for everything. It's like, I have pain, so I take CBD. Oh, I don't have pain, but I have anxiety, so I take CBD. Oh, but I take it to help me sleep. And it seemed like it was like people were treating it like a panacea. And so I got kind of skeptical about it. I was like, well, does it just do everything you want it to do? And so I kind of got a little skeptical for a little while. And so I stopped using it. Then about 6 months to a year ago, I don't remember exactly, 6 months to a year ago, my sister She started her own company of earth-based products. So one of the products they have is CBD oil, but they also make like cosmetics. She's designing deodorant for me, which I am very stoked about. Propylene glycol is in a lot of deodorants, and all of the deodorants that I've ever used that I really liked have that in it. And it's what makes the deodorant really, it slides on really easy. Well, I want to get away from that. It's considered carcinogenic and it might have effects on your hormones. And so she's designing right now, as currently I'm going through a lot of little like prototypes of these different kinds of deodorants. And like, she's really cool about like all this different stuff, like really like what is going in it. She raises her own chickens. So I eat fresh. Literally, I know those chickens. I know where they live and I know how well they're treated. And so when I eat those eggs, I feel real good. So everything about it is awesome. And I know what goes into those things. I go over there. If you follow me on Instagram, I take pictures over there sometimes. They call their place The Cottage. So if you go to Instagram, you take a look at my feed, usually maybe once or twice a month, I'll go over there when they're making their stuff. And it's like going over to see the alchemist, make all these cool things. And actually they recently got a contract making the salve for horses. So I went over there and they were making this horse salve. And it had some CBD in it. And I think it was for sore muscles or something. I don't exactly know what the proprietor asked them to produce for them. But hey, I used it on myself. I mean, we were, they let me watch them mix it and stuff. And I kind of rubbed a little on and it had like vitamin E and things like that in it. So anyway, that's a long version of, I ramble. And this is why I like doing the lives, because I can ramble a little. But what happened was my sister's like, why don't you try CBD, but try it 1 hour before you want to go to sleep. And this was something that, because so many people use it in so many different ways, I didn't know how to use it. So what I decided to do, I said, cool, I'll try it. And so I'm using CBD 1 hour before I go to sleep. And it does help me sleep. I know for a fact. So it helps me sleep. So the question was, what do you think about it for anxiety and depression? And ultimately, I can't speak on that myself, because I don't experience, I still experience anxiety, but I know how to use my breath so well at this point that generally I can downregulate. And I personally have not been able to, I don't personally receive benefits in that regards. Okay. The benefits that I get are a better night's sleep, which helps me be happier, healthier, and less anxious in the mornings when I wake up. But I can't say it's something that if I feel anxiety or depression, I take. Now, having said that, there are countless reports of people who, specifically when it comes to anxiety, right? And this has to do with the fact that we do have the endocannabinoid system within ourselves. And it's one of these things where I think the best comparison I've heard people make to CBD is it's a lot like an adaptogen. Okay, so an adaptogen is something that just helps you to adapt to the current situations, whether they're stressful or whatever it is. And in that respect, I see absolutely, I would say definitely if you're experiencing high levels of anxiety, CBD oil would be fine and probably helpful. But I also would say, in my opinion, I would use L-theanine first, because L-theanine, I'm just saying, it works so well for me. Now, one of the things, if you're in my breath mastery classes, if you've ever been in a breath class with me, you know that I'm very mindful of the fact that we as human beings, we are very diverse as a species. And that is to say, if something works one way on me, even breath work, okay, even breath work. And so this is where, whenever you take my 6-week breath mastery course, and of course that's live, so it's a lot like this, except for you get to actually meet other people in the class, which is kind of cool too. But if you take my 6-week breath mastery course, I teach you how to test what each technique or what that breath is doing for you specifically. And what we always find, and this is the thing, everybody's like, whoa, everyone expects it to do the exact same thing. Well, if it does that for me, it does that for you. And everybody's having different results. You know, there's generally trends as far as like, yeah, most people are having sort of this result, but it varies. So my suggestion for you is probably, this is really, it can be frustrating when people say this, but I would recommend testing it out and just trying it. And here's the thing. I've noticed that for me, because I'm looking to get better night's sleep, I always want to get the best night's sleep possible. And that's something my whole life I've struggled with. And even with breath work, if I can add something to my regimen that even improves it even more and that I'm getting better sleep, I'm going to do it. You know, so as long as it's not addictive, habit forming, or anything like that. So that's ultimately, you know, where that is. Hey, Hammerdeep, thank you so much. And Hammerdeep, if you have any questions, you are first in line. Thank you so much. Hammerdeep she just activated the super chats. So if you guys have any questions, you want to get first in line. But Hammerdeep, thank you so much. Hey, Hammerdeep, if you're here tonight, I hope you can come to our breath work tonight, because I know you were here. I think you were here Wednesday night, and we're going to be doing like some deep breath work with the Pulmonauts tonight. So I hope you can make that. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. So anyway, when it comes down to it, CBD, I think, has a lot of really good uses, but it's one of those things where you really have to check it out, and then you have to experiment. Here is my suggestion. If you're experiencing anxiety, obviously breath work is first, because it's free. You take it wherever you want, right? You don't have to worry about, did I leave it in my car and did it bake in the sunshine, right? Breath work is just, it's with you always. But then on top of that, for me, it would be L-theanine. If I'm in insane amount of stress and I just need something to help me down regulate a little bit more, I would take L-theanine. I would take 200 to 400 milligrams. And then after that, ultimately for me, I would say maybe then try CBD. But theanine for me is better for anxiety. When it comes to getting a good night's sleep, CBD has been really great for me. So awesome. Thank you for that question. That's a really good question. The Nomad Traveler, I saw this whenever I was trying to keep a straight face. Corey. So I got to meet the Nomad Traveler. How many was it? It's 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? And it was in Mandala Springs. And dude, you are a warrior, and I am just humbled that I have been able to witness your journey, and at least just a sliver of your journey. By the way, the Nomad Traveler took a picture of a signed copy of my book. Hopefully you saw that I reposted that on Instagram. I was honored. It was my book in a beautiful landscape. And I was like, dude, that was so awesome. So I really do appreciate that, my friend. And your question, how do you avoid irreversible shrinkage from cold training? So yeah, this is an uncomfortable topic. Okay, so when it comes to, I'm assuming this is a joke, but hey, I will say this, your body does adapt. Okay, so just so you know, I'll let you think about that. All right, let's see here. It's not irreversible is my point. Let's see here. Rusty Gaming, he says, Jesse, thoughts on taking cocaine for more breaths during Wim Hof? I'm loving this crowd. See, the thing is, we have to learn how to joke more, right? People need a dose of what we have to offer in this group, because you have to learn how to joke, right? I would say, yeah, cocaine is it's going to step up your nose probably, and then you'll have to breathe through your mouth. But Orbital Android, let's see what you have to say here. Hey, Jesse, my heater just broke. That's, well, I mean, it depends on where you live, because where I live, it's hot, or at least it's not getting hot, or it's not hot, but it's getting, definitely it's warming up. The spring is springing and it's almost summer. So my heater just broke. Any tips for someone being forced to go from zero to full-blown cold showers all of the sudden? Love your work. Wish you the best. Well, thanks, Orbital Android. I would say, I don't know what your situation is. And of course, obviously, eventually you're going to want to fix your heater. But if what you're saying is I think what you're saying is that you haven't taken any cold showers, and then now you're being forced to take cold showers. And of course, if you're still on, let me know if that's the case. But yeah, here's my suggestion to you. If you're going to go straight into the cold shower, okay, the instantly coming, it depends on where you live. If you're living in a place where it's the water coming out is extremely cold, then you might want to just be really fast about cleaning up. Okay, cool. You're still here. Great. You're going to want to be fast about cleaning up, but but here's the thing. Remember that no matter how cold the shower is, it's probably not so cold that taking a regular, scrubbing up is going to give you any kind of after drop or anything like that. It would have to be pretty much icicles coming straight out to make that happen. So I would say let it happen. Lean into this experience and say, you know what? I'll never forget how I started doing cold showers. My heater broke, right? That's how it happened. I was forced into it. The cosmos had it in mind to send me into cold training. I mean, think about this. Who are you to argue with the will of the universe? It's I would say just accept it and move into it. But here, let me give you a little advice how to do this, though. If it's straight up cold as you start, my advice to you is start the shower, okay? Start it, have it going, and then ease into it with your legs first, and then kind of go like this and come into it. Some people say that getting into a cold shower, that you should do your hands first and then your feet and then the rest of your body. But I don't agree with that because your extremities are going to make you feel like it's going to be colder than the rest of your body. Believe it or not, if you have cold water on your hand and on your chest and it's the same temperature, your chest is much more adaptive. It's going to be faster adapting than your hand. You are going to be able to tolerate that cold on your chest much better than your hand. It's strange. And people are like, no, but it's going to be more tender. Not true. You are completely able especially with your core, maybe in your back, your butt, get your butt cold, your legs, get into it that way. And then just breathe nice and slow and embrace the experience. Paul says, go for it. And I say, go for it. It may be a short shower, but ultimately, you're doing amazing good things for your body. You're training your vagus nerve. You're training yourself to endure more amounts of stress. It's all good all the way around. So, all right. So let's see. Amanda or Emerdeep says, hey, okay. So Emerdeep says, hey, I'm sleeping. I have sleeping issues too. Okay. So yeah, welcome to the club. It's no fun, is it? Right. So I've dealt with this for my whole life. And so I'm here with you. And you're welcome, Orbital, anytime. Thanks for the question. So Emerdeep's question is, she's had this issue for 7 to 8 years. No anxiety, though, just real light sleep where I am aware of everything around me, even during sleep. And, I am a light sleeper, and there are theories as to why some of us, like there are different chronotypes that we have. So what that means is there are different natural circadian rhythms that are specific to our physiology or our DNA. And this is why some people are night owls, some people are morning people, most people, they say most people should go to sleep approximately 7, 8, or no, they should go to sleep about 10 p.m. and wake up around 7 a.m. That's the natural rhythm for most people, but there are outliers. There's different areas, outside of that. And so it's something that, hang on just a second. Yeah. And so it's something that, I would say to think about, well, okay, so you don't have the anxiety. You're not getting much deep sleep. You're not getting much REM sleep. I got one of these smartwatches that helps me to know what exact kind of sleep am I getting, right? So am I getting how much REM sleep, how much deep sleep, how much light sleep? And that's one of the reasons why of course, breath work helps me get to sleep, and breath training helps me get deeper sleep, specifically because I'm making sure that I'm not breathing through the mouth when I'm sleeping. But then there are other things, like I am the type of person, let's see here. Hang on just a second. Bear with me just a second. And this is why I've got to, let's see. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. But this is why I try to do things to help me sleep deeper. So, black out the room, make sure it's super dark. The CBD does seem to help me get more deep sleep. Going to bed a little bit later. This is one interesting thing. So I used to think, well, okay, I'm going to go to bed earlier and I'll get more sleep that way. Maybe since I'll be asleep for longer, I will have deeper sleep. And what I have found is going to bed a little bit later, a little closer to that chronotype of 10 p.m. is better for me. I've also found that the more cardio that I do during the day, the more deep sleep I get. I get an enormous amount of REM sleep. So I dream all night. Like I've done a lot of research as far as how much REM sleep is normal, and I'm always way more than what is normal on REM sleep. It's just deep sleep has always been something that I have to make sure that I'm getting enough exercise. It's a lot of lifestyle things, right? And so I want to make sure I've got all those things in line so that I can get that deep sleep. So that's some advice for you, my friend. I also have a video on sleep. It's kind of like I think I call it a practical guide to sleep. I'm all about practical guides. So maybe check that out. I give my 2 cents, and you're very welcome, Emerdeep. Okay, let's see here. Just a few more, and then people are calling me and texting me and trying to get me. They feel like I need to be places and do things for them. And I haven't been able to have, this is my first Friday YouTube live in like 2 or 3 weeks. So I got to take a little time for this. Let's see here. Key says, I've been doing cold recently. My sleep has been slightly rocky. I'm very picky about sleep. There's nothing wrong with that. But today was a success. I got proper energy today. Sometimes cold exposure, I find that cold exposure helps me sleep. And actually John Richter, the guy on Facebook who he runs the cold plunge, what is it? The chest freezer cold plunge group. He got into cold training, so ice bath taking regularly. He got into it specifically to help him sleep because he had insomnia. Now, there is a lot of research to show that if you take a hot shower before you go to sleep, it helps you sleep deeper and better. However, sometimes I don't get a chance to do my ice bath until usually pretty late. And so I'm like, I'm going to go take my ice bath. And then the next day, I'm like, wow, I slept really well. So anyway, that's for when it comes to cold training and sleep. I do see a correlation there. And I do think that it's all dependent on you. And so there's a lot of experimentation that you have to do. Oh, okay. Key was saying that he meant CBD. Okay. Actually, you said CBD. I just can't read. so yeah, but yeah. So sometimes CBD is going to help a person sleep better, and sometimes it's not. And then you kind of have to test it out, and that's kind of frustrating. And so, the thing is, we all want to skip the work. I know I do. I don't like to have to do all the work of testing it out. I would rather just look it up on Google, right? I'll just do a Google search or whatever, say, what will make me sleep better tonight? And then they give me the answers, and then I do that, and then I'm done. I don't have to, but as it is with the human experience, we are all so diverse as a species. We have to be willing to do the research. We have to be willing to do the experimentation. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys being here. I want to just wrap up with a few reminders. Tonight, the Pulmonauts Collective will be meeting tonight at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. That's 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. And we're going to be doing guided breath work for raising awareness and raising money for cystic fibrosis. So you're all invited. It's free. It's going to be on this channel. So just go to my channel and it'll pop up. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you are subscribed, make sure that you get the bell so that you get the notification that we're going live, and it'll show you. And it's going to be a fun night tonight, 7:30 to probably 8:30, 9 o'clock, something like that, with the Pulmonauts, raising money for CF. And then also the 6-week breath mastery course is coming up, and we start our next cohort June 16th. And let me just tell you this, there is nothing like what I offer on the internet. This is what it is. And a lot of people will say, I've already taken, this course or that course, or I've read this book or that book. It's a, what can yours teach me that this one didn't? Ultimately, what my 6-week breath mastery course teaches is it's the foundations of how all of your breath works. Not just and it's not like a fundamentals, or it's the basics. We go super deep into how it all works. And then I teach you how to test your physiology, your specific physiology, so that you know what techniques do what for your physiology. Because I'm going to tell you, it's different for everybody. And everybody's out there collecting techniques, and they'll always ask me, what's a technique I can use to do this? Well, it depends is always the answer. And it's very frustrating, right? Sometimes I just give you sometimes there's techniques that for most people, it'll do this, right? So I'll say, okay, for most people to do this, but generally it's going to depend, and you'll never get the most out of your breath if you don't understand how your breath works. And so I teach you basically everything about how breath work works, how to test it on yourself, how to create your own personalized breath work practice, and even how to create your own breathing techniques for your own specific physiology. There's nothing out there like this. We meet 6 times, and it's live. So 2 hours every week, once a week, we meet for 2 hours. It's live with me. It's a classroom setting. We do experiments. We do breath. I do lecture some. I tell jokes, a lot of bad jokes, a lot of dad jokes. And by the end of it, and there's homework every week. There's homework, and you eventually, at the beginning, everybody's doing the same homework. By the end, everyone's doing different homework, because by the end, the goal is to get your own specific and individualized breathing practice. Clint, you're the man. You're the man, my friend. It's been too long. I hope you're doing well. So ultimately, that is the 6-week breath mastery course. It starts on June 16th. Take a look at my website, jessecoomer.com, and you can check out the signups. This is going to be we're considering this our last beta run before the full price comes out. So you'll get it at a discounted price. So it is discounted now because it's beta. And during the beta run, we're like, well, maybe there's, some kind of an issue. We don't want to charge full price if we're figuring out the software. Honestly, I'm pretty sure we figured the software out in the last run, but we're calling this one a beta. It's every night, 7 Eastern to 9 Eastern. And that way, this is specifically, it's best for the United States. I'll be doing another one that's 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. That's really good for Europeans. And we've had a lot of my friends from Europe being the other ones. We're going to be putting out some testimonials. I want you to understand what it is. It's not just like, a lot of people say, well, I've read the Oxygen Advantage. Is there anything else I'm going to learn? It's yes, you're going to learn a lot more. And it's not that I'm adding to what the Oxygen Advantage, I'm not disproving it. It's ultimately all breath work is dealing with the same things. And once you understand it and understand your own physiology, you can combine technique with your own understanding. And then most people are just stuck in first gear. And then once you understand all these things that we cover, you can run all the gears and you can really go deep. So guys, thanks so much. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comments. Join the Patreon club. It's very, very reasonably priced, and we meet every month for guided breathwork, private guided breathwork sessions for the patrons. Guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your Friday. I am out. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.